And I'll tell one little story here.
Please.
So Toxic Reasons came through, I think it was a Wednesday night. And my parents, okay, whatever, school night, Shawn, whatever, you got to be back at least by 10. Okay. So off I go. So, whatever, punk bands playing, delay. Last band gets on real late. Stupid, whatever. Here I am, and they're playing all these songs. And so I have all their stuff. So I wanted them to play, I think it was Destroyer. It's a song called Destroyer. I think it's off Independence LP. They hadn't played it. And I'm sitting there taking pictures with like my little Polaroid with a like little flash and doing so. And I'm completely just out of my mind for how cool this is to me as a guy who likes punk rock music. But I have to go home, so I'm a nice son, so I don't want to make my parents mad by being late. So I go up and I go up to Tuffy, the bass player, and he's a huge dude, and I just like kind of tug, like I'm on front stage, I kind of tug on his shirt. He's like, huh? I like comes down. Can you please play Destroyer? I have to go home. And I go, this one goes out for this little guy down the front here, it's like that. And he played it, and it's like perfection. That moment was perfection, right?
Oh, I love that.
It was perfection for me. For me personally, it was perfection. And so when I think about the old scene, the old Pomona, whatever, it's like moments like that you if you had to pay for it, you couldn't afford it.
Right.
It's all free.
Right.
I
No.
love it.
Wow. So now, with the way that you're feeling, where you are in your life, what are your plans with Black Claw? I mean, this doesn't seem like something you just did for just these releases. It seems like that you have other ideas.
Yeah. So if you take a little bit of what I mentioned about Pissed Happy Children, about not feeling very supportive, I think about my story about Bob Durkee saying, no, I don't want you to put the record out, kind of thing. Those kinds of thoughts burn a fire in me. It's a little bit of an unhappy fire, but it's motivating. So to me personally, we want to do Black Claw, my wife and I. We want to do Black Claw. We want to give bands an opportunity to get music out. We want to do things because we want to do them, and we want to do them really well. And for people who were able to get Ghost of Straight Edge Past, we put all kinds of shit in it. We put all kinds of posters and stickers and reproductions, and we shoved that thing full of stuff. And I'm also grateful to Fred Hammer of It's Alive Fanzine. Formerly, he also was in the band Annihilation Time. He helped me understand how to make records. I asked him, well, how do I do this? So he sat down with me. He's like, this is the recipe. I go, great. The veil is gone. This magical secret recipe that only a few people know is gone. It's like I know this thing. I figured out the vendors. I figured out how to do it, and now I know how to make records. And we absolutely love it. Every time we're doing this stuff, we're absolutely on cloud nine. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep going and going. And so the model for this label is we're not for profit. And what that means is whenever we generate revenue from a release, that revenue is set aside so the next release can take place. We'll never take a cut. And if ever we get to a place where the records are selling really, really well, that means then we can help bands pay for recording or maybe help them with a little support on the road if we're able to help a touring band. And so if everything works out, the model will have resources so it can continue to put out things and never be interrupted by a financial issue. Just forever,
Are your kids at all involved in this, or are they involved in hardcore? Do they care?
My son is now 15, Liam, and he has taken an interest in music. He has a variety of musical tastes, ranging from like Metallica to classic rock and things like that. The kids do help occasionally, just like labeling stuff, putting stuff in sleeves, helping me sort stuff and box stuff up. But Not tangibly. Like they don't say, "Hey, Dad, let's work on a record" or something like that. We're not quite there yet, but they think it's fun. They think it's interesting when I tell them, "Hey, look, we got a new project. Hey, look at this cool looking, colorful record we just did." They come over and check it out. They like it. They think it's neat. They think it's neat, but they didn't really grow up on vinyl. So,
Right.
but I mean, we have a turntable and the records are all out and stuff like that. So they get a chance to witness, me enjoying vinyl records and telling them stories about things. And so they're still catching up. Remember, they're obviously in a digital world where, whatever downloads and stuff like that. And we'll see how they go with it. They're always invited to participate.
I'm going to end the interview with a question that talks about an answer that you gave in a fanzine years ago, because I loved your answer then. I still love it. You were talking with someone, and I think the question was something to the effect of like, what have you learned or something? And you said, you know what? I'll tell you guys this. I'm a survivor. And then you talked a little bit, and then you said, and if one person, and you're also, if someone is going to give me grief because I drink a beer every so often, what are you doing? Like I love this music. I'm a survivor. And I guess what my question is, given what you did, given the time off, given being re-energized and coming back, would you still say that you're a survivor?
I absolutely am. That's the best answer. I mean, I easily could have stayed on my trajectory and never rejoined the scene. I could have been one of those weird guys who shows up at a record store and gets 100th value for a pile of records and just made my way into the sunset and never re-engaging and always sort of seeing things from the sidelines. My brother continues to do music, and I get a chance to see what he's up to from. I used to see what he was up to just from afar, but I think I definitely am a survivor, and I think my departure from the scene and re-engagement, and given my personal circumstances, I think it's very probable that I will continue to do this and even expand my capabilities to support the bands and support the scene and be engaged as time permits.
Do you think, sorry, I'm going into another question, but you seem just very, like, you talk about like the regimentation of your bandmate. Do you think that have you always been like that? Did you get some of that from him? Because that's how it seemed like, even when we were younger and we would talk, that's how it seemed like you did your bands. That's how it seems like you're doing this label.
I've always been. People have always commented that one of my characteristics is I have a strong sense of responsibility. So if it's band practice time, I'm there on time. I'm not fooling around. If it's time to do things, I do my things. If I'm asked to do something, I do it. You don't have to ask me twice. That's like a basic characteristic of who I am. What I learned from Eric Wood is bands that are not producing records or producing recording CDs, whatever it is, if you're not doing that, you're the same as some guy, goes down to the Guitar Center and plays Stairway to Heaven back in a corner. Who gives a shit? What is that? Nothing. You buy an expensive guitar and a bunch of stuff, you take it home, you do nothing. It's like an artist, right? You're an artist, you're painting paintings. Put them in a fucking corner. Sorry. What is that? What is that? Anybody who's doing music art, it really should be presented. I mean, what's the point? Oh, I want to get a ukulele and go on a beach and play music. Fine, who cares? It's just dinking around. But if you're gonna do a band, if you're gonna do music, isn't it an art form? Shouldn't it be on display? Shouldn't people have access to it? I mean, this is very personal for me. I think all bands who have music have done recordings. Given the market now, you don't want to have some garage band go out and press 10,000 records. Now you're going to have a lot of doorstops. But whatever your deal is, you should make it available. I mean, and people are nostalgic. I found that out with the film. People are nostalgic for some old stuff. People. You're going to spend your money anyways, right? Whether you go to Starbucks 2 times or 3 times and get yourself some coffee, or whether you buy an LP, it's the same money. One of them you keep forever, and one of them you just piss out. So what's the difference? Buy records. Buy things that you like. And the music is our legacy. I mean, we were a Claremont band. There weren't very many other bands from Claremont. There was one notable band from Claremont, and Ben Harper's from Claremont. I'm not thinking of any other groups that came from the Claremont area, but we're very proud of we were very proud of what we did. We're very proud of Pomona scene. It's undocumented. A lot of the punk stuff's been documented so many times. It's like I get one more video about some popular band. I'm not gonna name names, where it's like I've heard it 1,000 times.